The 2013 college football campaign kicks off tonight, and I'm going to repeat to you something that I told you at the beginning of the 2011 season, the 1995 season, the 1985 season. The opening weeks of the season, no matter the sport in reality, the only time you have the advantage over the odds makers. Listen, guys, the line makers have a job to do, but understand, to do that job, they need information, okay? But they are not privy to any other information that you don't have access to. Listen, they've read about the spring games for these various teams. They've read the various beat writers' reports for these teams. They've seen the coaches' statements, the announcements of depth charts. Now, true, they are factoring in whether a team such as South Carolina tonight on the board is more of a public favorite, and in such cases perhaps making you lay a little bit more. Because let's face it, basic human nature, we all gravitate toward the favorites, whether you're a gambler and even some handicappers, and the odds makers know that. But the bottom line, the softest numbers that you are going to find all season long, the first couple of games. Now, after these teams play one, sometimes two games, that's it. Forget about it. That advantage disappears. That doesn't mean, however, that your prime objective changes as the season progresses. The key to making money, I don't care what sport you're looking at, but especially here early in the college football season, is spotting bad lines. Even when they've got 35, 40 games on a Saturday, late October, you will find a handful of games, guys, that have numbers that just don't seem right. And those are the games that you've got to concentrate on. Those are the games you're going to find your most value. So again, don't fear betting in the opening weeks of the season. Again, it's the only time you truly have the advantage over the odds makers. Now, that game between South Carolina and North Carolina, that's going to be one of my two free picks tonight. The other one is going to be the Utah State game, which I think could be perhaps one of the best games on tonight's card, other than my 15-dime play, where I think the line is off by a solid 6 points, where the odds makers have erred in their judgment. But this, of course, being Thursday, let's get to who's hot and who's not, and a number of promotions coming your way as well. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, but you know that. You clicked on my ad, you clicked on my name, you know what you're watching today. Hey, listen, I want to first talk about Anthony Redd. Remember on Saturday, NFL preseason play had his biggest preseason play of the season, an 80-dime release on the St. Louis Rams, easily covering in a 1-point loss, catching 6.5 points at Denver. Then on Sunday, he came back with a 60-dime play with the New Orleans Saints, a 3.5-point road dog outright at Houston. Well, today he has something even bigger. It's his 100-dime opening college kickoff game of the year selection. He's won it 8 of the past 11 years. Remember last year when he won this play? It was Cincinnati against Pittsburgh. The Bearcats were a 5-point favorite. They jumped out to a huge double-digit lead and rolled to a 19-point win for the easy cover. Well, tonight, he's focusing on Tulsa Bowling Green. Not one of your marquee games on the board, but how many times have I told you guys? Sometimes the best money is to be made by concentrating the most where the odds makers concentrate the least. Anthony Redd thinks so tonight, obviously. Tulsa Bowling Green, 100-dime opening game of the year winner, number 9 over the past 12 years. And how about Trace Adams? Going for winning day number 17 out of 24 today. That's the short-term run. The long-term run, he's going for winning day number 40 out of 59. And over the past 8 weeks, a 58-day period to be exact, $1 bettors have won $23,700. Now, normally a 1,000-star play is Trace's top selection. Many times here this baseball season, he has raised the bar with 1,500-star releases. But tonight, you want to check out what Trace has got going on, because he is the Thursday night king here, guys, at these sites. Because tonight he has his 2,000-star double your wager winner, number 7 out of 10. On the last game on the college card, Rutgers at Fresno State. Now, Thursday nights, dating back to 2007, his overall record 65-42. Not bad, right? But with his 1,500-star lead pipe locks, he's 45-28. Since 2007. And tonight's play is stronger. 2,000-star double your wager winner, number 7 out of 10 in college football, Fresno, and Rutgers, the side selection there. Now, guys, let's talk about some coupons here. Perhaps you'd like to save $23 off purchasing Anthony Redd's play. Or maybe use the coupon. It's a one-time usage coupon on Trace Adams' play. You can save $23 by using coupon code 23OFF, 230FF. and you'll save $23 off a single purchase today of anything here at the site. Or perhaps, guys, you want to make a long-term investment here with the opening week of college football at your doorstep. And why not? We've got football 5 straight days here to kick off the season, right? Buy one handicapper 7-day package. Get the plays of another handicapper for 7 days of equal or lesser value, absolutely free. So let me give you a couple of example guys. Scott Delaney, who has been the hottest handicapper at this site for months and months now. In fact, yesterday you just got his 49 baseball winner number 15 out of 17 for a whopping $14 on the Phillies Mets over, and that was on the heels of getting his NFL preseason total of the year as the $5 play of the day on Sunday with the Vikings and 49ers over. Guys, $10 bettors have made $8,150 following Scott's betting advice over the past 269 days, which in reality means it's almost 9 months, guys. That's the real bottom line. 8,150 days. Maybe you want to buy 7 days of his service, right? 7 days of his premium plays for just $249. And then, guys, you could get, for example, Trace Adams, who I just told you about, 7 days of his service running concurrently with Scott's, normally $189 value, you would get it for free. Buy 7 days of one handicapper, get 7 days of a second handicapper of equal or lesser value for free. Or maybe Craig Davis, who has just been phenomenal in football over the past couple of years and had a very strong baseball season as well. Maybe you want to get 7 days of his service. You buy Scott Delaney's and you get 7 days of Craig, which normally costs $219. You would get 7 days for free. It's a real simple procedure. You make your initial purchase, then you send an email to customer service, generally within 10 minutes. Normally it's 5, sometimes it's 10, only because of the sheer number of you taking advantage of these type of promotions, as I do it pretty much on a weekly basis. They'll get back to you and let you know they added the second handicapper, which you have to tell them who it is. Don't forget, in the email, tell them who you want. They will add that play, the handicapper's plays, to your account for 7 days. So again, buy one handicapper 7-day package, get a second handicapper's package of 7 days of equal or lesser value, absolutely free. You'll save, hey, in that case, maybe $170, $180, or over $200, depending on the handicapper combinations you pick. As you know, a number of the handicappers here also have long-term packages that save you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, some thousands of dollars, by giving you all of their action right through the Super Bowl on February 2nd next year. You can save $75 off those already discounted prices by using coupon code SUPER75, SUPER75. Now remember, all the various coupons and promotions, etc., are on the homepage of the site, or if you ever have any question about any of the promotions I'm talking about, all you got to do is contact customer service, and that's what they're there for. Now, as for me, guys, and I'm going to get to the $5 play of the day in just a second. As for me, it depends what I'm going to say here to you, how you view it, whether or not you're a glass half empty or a glass half full type of guy. Last year I had a losing football season. There's no bones about it. You know, I tell you the good. I always tell you the bad here. If you want to be lied to, call somebody else. Watch somebody else. I mean, go someplace else. I don't play those games. Last year I had a losing football season, college and pro combined. So, for those of you into the half empty scenario, yeah, that really sucked. To be honest with you, it sucked no matter which scenario you're in. But reality is, I've won 9 of the last 11 years, turned a healthy profit 9 of the last 11 years in college and pro football combined. If you had told me 12 years ago that I would be able to win 9 out of 11 years in football, I would have had my pen out signing on the dotted line, giving you whatever you wanted. 9 out of 11 years, I can live with it. I lost last year. Don't ask me what I did wrong last year. I can't tell you. If I knew, I wouldn't have done it, right? I wouldn't have had a losing season. I don't know. Maybe my biorhythms were off. I don't know. You know, maybe it was a horoscope type of related thing, an astrological type of thing. Or maybe my lucky pen just simply wasn't working last year. One time I was in Las Vegas. I did some side work for some guy. He was big back in the 80s in the 800 service. Big, nationally known guy. I had nothing to do with that part of his service or anything. Happened to walk in his office. First time I ever met him. I saw this door and it said, handicapping room. And I said to one of his employees, I said, is that where they have the dartboard? Yeah, that went over real big. Silence, like in church when somebody's coughing. I mean, seriously. But I don't know what happened last year. But hey, look. I'm coming out of the gates tonight, 15-time opening odds makers error play tonight where I think the line makers have made a error in judgment of 6 points in this game. I think this particular team, the line is off by 6 points, and I like them even more because of it. So that's where I'm going to roll tonight. Now, your $5 play of the day. And remember, this is something that I really got heavy started doing once more right when the NBA playoffs started back in the end of April. And the reason I started with the $5 play of the day again is because I wanted to show you that the fact that many of you don't like playing totals is really ridiculous, because you can ask a lot of the handicappers here at the site and they will be the first to tell you often when you're handicapping cards, sometimes the total is the best bet on the board and not the side. But a lot of you have trepidation about playing totals because, well, I don't know why, to be honest with you. And the reality is, it's not like when you go and cash in a ticket, they pay you half the amount of your winning wager because it was a total. I mean, you get paid the same if you bet the same, side and total. It's the same deal, guys. So I have purposely given you the totals of many of the handicappers here going back to the end of April. And what have they hit? Probably a collective 65%. Now, yesterday, Jeff Benton did lose with the $5 play of the day release, as he was going for 75 dime total winner, number 12 out of 14. Gee, he finally lost one? I guess he's allowed to over the past 2 months. But still, the most recent run with the total selections, the $5 play of the day releases, not too shabby. 26 and 18 run with a couple of pushes along the way. And today we're turning to Matt Rivers, who has been a key contributor over the past 5 months with those total releases. Today's second biggest release of the year, in fact. It's his 400,000 star winner, number 17 out of 26. His opening college football total of the year, South Carolina and North Carolina. The over-under, you get it for just $5. Just $5 by using coupon code MATT5. MATT5, M-A-T-T, and the number 5 normal price is $70, so you save $65. MATT5 is the $5 play of the day selection. Now, let's talk about that North Carolina-South Carolina game. I find it real interesting that North Carolina overnight, I'm just looking at the clock here, maybe about 8 hours ago, North Carolina, you were grabbing 12.5 points. That line, as I do this video report here in the morning, is now down to 11. I even see some 10.5s out there because everybody's jumping on North Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina has failed to cover its last 2 Steve Spurrier-led openers. And yeah, South Carolina, has some issues offensively. Who's going to be their featured running back? Who's going to be their quarterback? Gee, a Steve Spurrier coach team with quarterback indecisiveness. That is really a shock for the guy in the visor. But here's the thing. South Carolina plays defense, okay? Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you that North Carolina last year, offensively, a juggernaut. 40.6 points per game. They've got a senior quarterback in Bryn Renner coming back, who threw for over 3,300 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions last year. But they got 3 new offensive linemen. And also keep in mind last year that this North Carolina team put up a lot of points against teams like, Elon and Idaho, and they beat East Carolina. Problem is, this North Carolina team doesn't play any defense. I mean, they lost to Louisville, giving up 39 points. They lost to Duke, giving up 33 points. They lost to Maryland. Or did they meet Maryland? They beat Maryland, and they still, I think, gave up a ton of points. But the game that sticks out in my mind last year was when they played Georgia Tech. What'd they lose that game, 68-50? I know they gave up 68 points. 68 points they allowed. Now I think about that South Carolina defense. You know how good it is, guys. I mean, South Carolina allowed 18.2 points a game last year. That defense had 43 sacks last year. It's like the Clowney leading the charge, okay? Remember when they played another ACC member, Clemson, their big rivalry game at the end of the year? Clemson's offense, much more dynamic than North Carolina's, much more diversified. Clemson couldn't do, can't say that 4-letter word. I'd like to, though. But they couldn't do anything against them. Why should North Carolina? I think now that because this line has dropped down, the public's out there grabbing the points with the dog because they go, North Carolina's got that high-powered offense. They're going to keep this one close. I say you go the other way and you lay the points with South Carolina in this contest. Now, the other game I really like tonight, I want to talk about Utah State and Utah. Last year, Utah State was a 7-point dog. They won the game 27-20 in overtime at home. Utah had won the previous 12 meetings in this series. And it was a real interesting game because the Utes, that's Utah, lost their starting quarterback at the time, Jordan Wynn, in the second quarter, had to turn to John Hayes, who was dreadful coming off the bench. And yet, Utah managed to rally. They scored the game-tying touchdown with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go. And then they had a chance to win it in regulation. But a 52-yard field goal attempt on the final play of regulation was a miss. and then Utah State managed to win in overtime. This Utah State is an experienced team. True, they have a new first-year head coach, as offensive coordinator Matt Wells took over for Gary Anderson once Anderson left at the end of last year to go to Wisconsin. But this Utah State team, I mean, they've got a quarterback, Chucky Keaton. And they're pushing, of course, for the Heisman. You got to like a guy who's named Chucky being pushed for anything. Chucky Keaton. It's not Chuck, it's not Charles, it's Chucky Keaton. Last year against Utah, 22 for 32, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then he also ran the ball 86 times on 17 carries. Did I say he ran the ball 86 times? He ran the ball for 86 yards on 17 carries. Listen, the Aggies, that's Utah State, have covered, actually they've won 7 of their last 9 road games straight up. As for Utah, this is a team that's still looking for an offense. I mean, so much so that they brought in Dennis Erickson. Yes, that Dennis Erickson to kind of be a co-offensive coordinator to try to rev that offense up. But yes, Utah is 12-19 against the spread in its last 31 games lined. 6-11 against the spread, laying single digits since 2007. And since Kyle Whittingham took over the program back in 2005, laying single digits, they're 7 games under 500. Utah State covered 11 out of 13 last year. I mean, this team was just maybe a touchdown away from being a BCS bowl contender. They've covered 7 straight games as a dog over the past 2 years. I think Utah State, even though this game is on the road, I think that Utah State wins this game outright. I like them plus 2.5 points in this one. And this is one of those cases, guys, if you're going to be betting Utah State, you got to buy the half point. You got to buy up to 3. You're not going to allow yourself to be beaten by a field goal. And if you have 3, you buy up to 3.5, because why settle for a push when you can pay a little extra, maybe another 25 cents in juice, and assure yourself a win. This is going to be a closely contested game. Again, I think Utah State wins it outright, but it's a free pick, and I'm not betting them. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to y'all, and I will catch you again tomorrow as we do this once more with plenty of more college football action set for your Friday card.